Good morning, children. Welcome back to the online class of Sri Kogulam Public School, Vattagara.
We can continue our lesson, Tribals, the Goose and the Vision of Golden Age. Before that, we can start the class with a great thought of APJ Abdul Kalam. Then confidence and hard work is the best medicine to kill the disease called failure. It will make you a successful person. Dear children, don't forget that. Do the hard work and attain a great success in your life. Did you remember where did we stop the previous class? Okay, the previous class we discussed how did the tribal groups they earned their livelihood. They earned their livelihood mainly through 4 ways. Do you remember that? They were hunter-gatherers. They did the June cultivation or shifting cultivation. And some of them were then settled cultivators, and others they did they ran or herding the animals, and they earned the livelihood, and they collected the grains from moneylenders or from the traders. That affected the life of the forest people. Up to there we completed. And today's class I am going to discuss about then how did the forest law affect the life of the people, and what were the problems faced by the British by introducing this forest law, and how did they solve this problem. And the next the problems related to the trade as well as the silk trade and the rebellion in the forest. Listen, these are the main parts that we wanted to discuss today. And first of all, we can see how did the Forest Act affect the life of the people. The British government in 19th century, they passed the Forest Act that affected the life of the people. Then according to this Forest Act, the people were not allowed to enter into the forest. We already discussed that. Their life entirely depending upon the forest. What did they want? They collected from the forest. Even the oil. Do you remember that? They pressed the seeds of mekwa and sal, and they prepared the oil for lighting the lamps and cooking the food. But their life entirely depended on the forest. But as per the forest show, they were not allowed to go to the forest and to collect the firewood or medicinal plant or fruits or roots that affected the life of the forest people. As per the forest law, the British government, they divided the forest into 3 categories: reserved, protected and village forest. The details you can study in the next year. Reserved forest that entirely reserved for the British did not allow the forest people to enter these areas. And wherever the thick trees grown, these areas they mainly reserved for their purposes. They wanted to cut the trees and to prepare the sleepers. What is meant by sleepers? Sleepers means the wooden planks that they used for connecting the railway lines. Listen, then due to the expansion of the railway, the demand for sleepers also increased. So to meet this increasing demand of the sleepers, then they reserved the areas wherever the big trees that were grown. In the reserved areas, the forest people were not allowed to move freely or to do the jung cultivation or to collect the fruits or roots. And they were forced to move to other areas in search of jobs. Then please see that how did the forest law affect the life of people. They were unable to continue the traditional practice. Listen, and the British they classified the forest as reserved, protected and a village forest. And then by this the people were forced to move to other areas in search of job. But when the forest people were moved from these forest areas to other areas, that affected the British officials. Listen, because they wanted to cut the trees and to prepare the sleepers. Listen, what is meant by sleeper? Sleepers, the wooden planks used to connect the railway lines. I hope all of you saw that. Listen, and so the British government, they didn't get the sufficient laborers to cut the trees and to export the sleepers. So what did they do there? They allowed the forest people to live in the forest areas. But at the same time, these people, they wanted to do the free labor to the forest department. Listen, then these areas were known as the forest villages. Wherever the people were allowed to stay, that areas were known as the forest villages. And in this area, the British government, they provided small plots of land to the forest people to do the cultivation. At the same time, they wanted to do the free labor to the British. They wanted to cut the trees as well as to look after the forest. This they mainly introduced to ensure the regular supply of laborers. Listen, they wanted then more and more laborers to cut the trees as well as to look after the forest. Clear? Then what did we discuss now? Then the problems. What was the problem? Then they were not getting the sufficient laborers. So how did they solve that problem? Then they allowed the forest people to live in the forest. That forest areas were known as the forest villages, but they wanted to do the free labor to the British. But gradually, then the forest people, they organized the protest or the revolt against the forest law, or they turned against the British government. The tribal groups, they were not ready to obey the rules or the laws passed by the British government. They wanted to continue the traditional practices, and these traditional practices were declared as illegal. The British government, they declared the traditional practices as illegal. So they wanted to continue the traditional practices of collecting the firewood, collecting the roots and fruits from the forest, as well as to do the shifting cultivation. And this led to the open rebellion between the British officials as well as the tribal communities. Then example, the revolt of Songram Sangh in 1906 in Assam, and the forest satyagraha of 1930 in the central provinces. Once again, example, the revolt of Songram Sangma in 1906 in Assam, and the forest satyagraha of 1930 in central provinces. Please see that the protest against the British government. Clear? Next, we can discuss what were the problems related to the trade. Listen, but in 19th century, the traders and money lenders from outside, they reached to the forest. For what purpose? For buying the forest products. The traders and money lenders from outside reached the forest for buying the forest products. But the traders, they did not give the sufficient price for their products. The same time, the money lenders, then they provided the loans with high interest. Listen, they offered the cash loans and asked them to work for the wages. Clear? Then these tribal groups, they didn't understand what were the consequences of accepting these loans and selling the products with the less prices. But gradually they realized the consequences. Because of this, the forest people, they became debtors. Listen, they accepted the loans from money lenders and they started the cultivation. But the continuous accepting of the loans, that made them as debtors. We can see that one. Then one such incident that occurred in the silk trade. Listen, there was a high demand for Indian silk in the European market because of that much of high good or quality silk produced in India. So then silk export from India, they increased and the market expanded. Listen, then due to the high quality of the Indian silk, more and more silk products exported from India, and then market also expanded. In this situation, the English East India Company, they encouraged the silk production to meet the growing demands. Example, the Sandal community in Hazaribagh in Jharkhand, they read the cocoons. We know the silk that is producing from these cocoons. They read the cocoons, and the traders, they send their agents to give loans and to collect the cocoons from this forest community. The traders, they appointed the agents or contractors, and these agents or contractors, they provided the loans to the people and then produced this or read the cocoons and collected the goods. Listen, the growers, they were paid rupees 3 to 4 1,000 cocoons. That much of price only they got. The community, they got, forest community, they got that much of price only. These products or these collected cocoons that they exported to Burdwan or Gaya and sold at 5 times of the price. Clear? They collected the goods with a less price and exported these cocoons with high prices. Then the middleman between the exporters and the silk growers, they made huge profit. And the growers of the silk, they got less prices only. And this community, they saw these traders as their main enemies. Okay, now we can see what did we discuss here? Silk trade. Listen, the demand for Indian silk expanded because of the high quality of the Indian silk. Then when the demand expanded, then what happened there? They appointed the contractors to collect the cocoons from the forest community, and the contractors, they collected with less price and they sold at high prices. The search for the work. Next we can discuss that. Listen, the search for the work. The forest communities, they suffered a lot because of the forest law. So they moved from the forest areas to other areas in search of work. And they heard the job opportunities in Assam tea plantation as well as the coal mines of Jharkhand. And they got the opportunity, job opportunities in this tea plantation and coal mine. But there also they faced lot of troubles. Once they joined in this plantation, they didn't get the permission to go back to their own villages, and they wanted to do long hours work. The same time, they got less wages only. The workers, they were appointed by the contractors, and the contractors, they provided less wages only. Now see this, please listen. The plight or the difficulties faced by the workers in the Assam tea plantation and the coal mine work. Okay, clear? Next, we can discuss all these troubles that led to the rebellion. Now we can discuss about this rebellion. The tribals in different parts of the country, they organized rebellion through 19th and 20th century. And they were against the changes in the law. They were against the forest law and the restrictions on their practices, the new taxes and the exploitation of traders and money lenders. We discussed that earlier. They were exploited by the traders and money lenders. They were restricted to do the traditional practices, and the British government passed the forest law, imposed the taxes. So the forest people, they organized a rebellion against this. Now please see this. The example of the forest rebellion. The Coles rebellion, that was in 1831 to 1832, and Bastar rebellion in 1910. Listen, and another one, that is Warli revolt in Maharashtra, that was organized in 1940, and the movement led by Birsa Munda. These were the examples of the rebellion. Please see this. Okay. Then the rebellion that was against the British officials because they did not allow them to follow the traditional practice. And the examples of this rebellion, please see this. The Coles rebellion in 1831 to 32 and Bastar rebellion that is in 1910, and then another one, Warli Revolt, that was in 1940, that was in Maharashtra, and the rebellion organized by the Birsa Munda. Okay, I think all of you understood. If you have any doubt, please contact me. Then don't forget to complete the notes. You have to complete the notes that particular period itself. Okay, thank you.